You know, going back to the Shaw game, you know, glad to get the win. I thought, you know, we got to get better offensively. You know, of course, we got to run the ball better. You know, and we got to establish a quarterback. We got to get a leader to emerge at that quarterback spot. Once again, we're coming into this game with three quarterbacks, still fighting through the week to pick a starter. Haven't picked a starter yet. You know, now we're off to Monmouth. Great football team. You know, playoff team last year. You know, we're going to their home, which will be tough up there. You know, we gotta play fundamental, and we gotta play with great technique. I think the coaching staff does an outstanding job. You can clearly see they well coached. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They played a good Eastern Michigan team that went to a bowl last year, so it'll be a tough opponent for us. Questions?
I know this isn't technically a Big South game, but it is a Big South opponent. Does that add a little bit of something for you?
I think so. I think that, you know, that gives us an indication of what conference we're going into and what the competition is like. So once again, we look forward to going to Monmouth and just seeing how we match up with a Big South opponent.
You were talking last weekend, actually, in preseason about, I think in the preseason you had, in the spring maybe, you had only 5 defensive linemen?
Exactly.
And was it Desmond who was? Yeah,
Desmond had surgery.
Yeah. Thoughts on how they played Saturday night?
I thought they played well. I mean, it's what I expected. When anytime you playing with, you got 2 juniors and about eight freshmen. I mean, you know, they play hard. You know, we got to continue to work on our techniques and fundamentals and hand placement, eye contact, and stuff like that. But you know, we're where we need to be. I think that once again, you know, as the season go on, you know, they'll continue to get better. You know, you keep in mind we're playing a lot of freshmen on defense.
You count on a guy like Desmond to provide a lot of leadership for the younger guys?
I definitely do. I think that anytime you've been in the program over 2 years, I think you should have a leadership role in the program. You know, I definitely expect Desmond, you know, to play a leadership role, especially down that defensive line, but not just on the defensive line. I think with the team overall, he needs to be a leader.
Is McKenzie back, do you know, for this week?
You know, got a good report on McKenzie. You know, he's probable for this game. Definitely think he'll be back for the Tennessee State game. We just got to wait and see. We'll have a better indication as far as shot go on Friday.
Your special teams play was pretty special. You got a block punt for a touchdown. You were harassing their kicking game all night long.
Yeah, we saw some things on film. I thought it was important that we be very aggressive there. One thing that we noticed, you know, when there are blockers, you know, struggled a little bit. But, you know, we got first time with the block, we got a roughing the passer. I mean roughing the punter. So they had to call that back. I think it hurt us there with 5 yards. But we continue to stay aggressive. You know, we felt like going in there that we was hoping we'd at least block 3. I think we blocked 1 and maybe tip 1 or something like that. But we're going to, special teams is 1/3 of, and we're going to treat it like 1/3. We're going to treat it like offense and defense.
You talk about the play of the offensive line. It seemed like they were able to protect your quarterbacks pretty well, but you didn't really get that, I don't know if you'd agree, but that classic push in the run game.
No, we didn't. And I felt like, you know, offense always take longer than defense. So, I mean, I think we're where we need to be. I think the biggest thing is you get against a team and you want to do more. I think we tried to do too much, and we need to just simplify. I always believe in, you know, you let athletes make plays. You put them in spots to make plays. You don't get them to the thinking a lot. And I think we had them thinking a little too much. But, you know, big improvement. I mean, you always see your biggest improvement from the first game to the second game. I like where we at. I mean, I feel comfortable about it. And once again, keep in mind that we're talking about a team that brought in over 50 new players. Just think if those guys weren't here, the situation we'd be in at Hampton, you know, taking over this program. So we're gelling, we're new, you know, and so it's a lot of stuff going on as far as, you know, building relationships, building confidence in each other, and then coming together and bonding as a unit.
speaking of players who were making an impact, Byron Barney did in the second half, scoring a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, it was great to see him catch the ball and score a touchdown. It was great to see him run some of them jet sweeps we ran. But, once again, it's not just Byron. It's a lot of guys stepping up. But I do like that he made some plays, and he's got to continue to make plays for us to be successful.
Devin Anderson's a kid you got to know in East Carolina. What'd you think of his night?
I thought he ran the ball hard. I thought that, he fumbled the ball. I think that you got to have, you got to forget about things when, when something bad happens. You got to forget about it. Don't dwell on it. You play one play at a time. I mean, I think in life, when you go through something and you face some adversity, it's important that you get yourself up, you pick yourself up and get stronger and keep going. And that's something that, and he understands that, being a graduate student, he understands that he needs to redeem himself. He needs to come back and not worry about it. He might fumble the ball again this week. I mean, you don't worry about it. Just keep playing hard and fight through it. Keep going. We're always talking about, going through things in life and in different situations and stuff, and finding a way to get back up, never giving up, and those kind of things that we're trying to teach you as a coaching staff, and just the whole culture here is about never giving up. And that's what, when I was at Hampton University, that was one of the biggest things I learned as a student as far as going to class. I was challenged academically with, as far as the faculty and staff go, and we always believe in it. We're going to fight through it. We'll get better.
Did he contact you kind of soon after you got the job here? Because I know he was thinking about transferring at that point.
Well, I think as, probably we got to talking about a month later, and he was made his mind up he was going to leave ECU, and we're very fortunate to get him. And let's not just talk about football. We talk about him as a young man. He's an outstanding young man. I'm a big people's person, and he has a good heart. He has a good spirit, and I love being around good people. So, Devin Anderson is a good football player, but he's just as good of a human being.
What do you see of Monmouth's personnel?
Big up front. They 6'6", 6'5", probably the biggest offensive line we're going to face. Got some seniors. You can tell they done played together a lot. They remind me of a MAC conference team, probably on the offensive line side. Got a big receiver that can play. I notice he's a captain, number 9. Good player. I actually know his dad. His dad is a coach up in Maryland, at a high school up in Maryland. I think he's a really good player. And they got some big tight ends, 6'6". Quarterback is a senior. Don't make a lot of mistakes. Very cerebral guy. Watching him, he don't give you nothing at safety. You look at him in the eyes, he's looking you off. I mean, well-coached football team. I tell you that coach does an outstanding job. I mean, I'm very impressed with Monmouth, and I can see why they made the playoffs last year. They just do an outstanding job.
Just back on the Shaw game for a moment, maybe something to how you handle things during the games and during the season. Shaw was closing in on about 20 penalties at one point. While it's great for you in terms of field position for your team, it also kind of stifles momentum after a while. You kind of get this repetition where you're not getting really a play going. What do you do to keep the guys, heads in the game? Even though things have kind of like bogged down for just because of what your opponent's doing.
You take care of things you can take care of. You can't control the officials. You can't control what's going on. What you can control is you can line up between them lines, and you can play disciplined football, and you can stay focused. I always talk about being focused with this as far as life goes, whatever you do on and off the field, and it all takes place. So, and it shows, it goes back to discipline. Whatever. If the official make a call, that's part of the football game. You can't lose your concentration over what the official calls, so you got to stay focused on that next play.